Tevez sta solo, Tevez al limite dell'area, fa fuori tutti, Tevez, si apre la porta, Tevez, gol, da dietro, Pirlo dentro,
Well, would you look at this, Omer? We did it. We managed to get the show started without the gaffer. So again, apologize to all the people out there. Thank you for joining early. Omer, welcome.
Thank you. It's been a long time.
That's all you got to say.
It's not morning anymore.
Well, it is for me. Bright and early. Great day. I see everybody's here in the chat. But Big Bob Easy here very early. First one in. Michael, good morning, my friend. We got Mohammed here. Jeremiah, we got a lot of questions already starting. The chat's already kind of popping off. So we're going to have to, Omer, you have to give me a hand with that, looking through that. But again, another friendly in the books, Omer. Not bad, not good. We're going to get into that. We're going to get into a little bit of the transfer talk. We're going to try and figure out where Al is, but maybe he's packing because he's going to be on his way to LA today. But that's besides the point. I'm here. You're here. How about we just get right into it? We're on a bit of a time crunch, so let's get right into it. Your thoughts yesterday on the friendly with Barcelona?
Overall, it was a good game. I enjoyed watching it. I woke up at 3:30 to watch it a.m. and it was a pretty entertaining match. I get that it's a friendly and you sort of gotta adjust your mindset. I know you want to see Juve win, but it's more testing out players and letting the rust off everyone. And Allegri is doing some checking, so I don't expect free-flowing football and everyone to be cohesive. And with that in mind, it's a good game. This Barca team has just beaten the European champions, the UCL champions 1-0, and we drew with them. It's fine. Some good performances, some are bad, to say the least.
Yeah.
But maybe we're saving that from the start of the season instead of experiencing it now, and then it won't happen when the season starts.
Well, for me, it's a friendly, so let's take it with a grain of salt. It was our second game. I think this was Barcelona's third or fourth already. So they're a little bit more, they got their legs with them. In terms of a team performance, I thought it was a good first half. The second half, I don't have a lot of comments on. There was some changes. I guess my main comment in terms of an overall view of the game was, I don't even think we crossed half in the second half. It was just everyone looked gassed. Maybe it was the heat in Dallas. Try not to make excuses, but again, it's the second friendly. Not going to read into it too much. But getting into player performances, was there one player that stood out for you or a couple players that stood out for you above the rest?
I think Lucatelli had a great game. Fantastic game. Mm-hmm. Great assist. Rovella should be mentioned. I know a lot said he only backpassed and stuff, but that's basically the rule, and he was everywhere, and he gave it 90 minutes in that heat. Keane was like, I'm on the fence because at the end of the day, he's a striker. Like, if he scores 2 goals a game, that's what his job. That's what he needs to do. Yeah, Trezeguet used to pass entire games without touching the ball, and then 1 goal at the end wins the game, and that's what you want from your striker. I actually remember one game with Ruud van Nistelrooy. He scored 4 goals, and he was the worst player on the pitch back in 2003 or something. But Keane did have a good game as a striker. Cuadrado was on and off the regular Cuadrado. You hate him for one moment, then you love him. And Sandro was awful, just absolutely awful. Got run over by Dembele time and time again.
Twice.
Dembele is class. I'm not taking anything away from him. He's not an easy player to mark. But was a bit soft, maybe because it's a friendly and they wanted to avoid harsh tackles or whatever. I would also point out Di Maria was on fire for like 50, 60 minutes. And that's about it for my player performances.
The one thing I'll touch on with Di Maria was I was surprised that he was out there that long. He was out there until the 70th minute or so. So I didn't understand that one. I had a lot of questions about what Max was doing with the players yesterday. I had questions about Vlahovic, and then Hanin, who's follows on Twitter, he's always in here in the comments, reminded the group that he's actually recovering from a sports hernia. So that's why he's not getting minutes. And McKennie makes sense. He's coming off that ankle injury. You don't want to rush them back. I would hope to see Vlahovic at the very least in the last game that you're going to in Tel Aviv against Atletico. So hopefully he gets some game time, because the 15th is coming. The 14th is coming pretty quick. The first game of the year against Sassuolo. For me, people think I have an agenda against Ravella. I don't. I have an agenda against commenting on players that don't play for Juventus, because I could care less. Actually, I couldn't care less. But yesterday, I think he was probably head and shoulders the best player on the field. Locatelli actually had a great game as well, but those two in the middle showed why they could be a pairing in there. Now we'll get to the injuries a little bit later, but it looks like the latest on Pogba is 40 to 60 days, which would put him out, miss at least one or two Champions League games. Rovella, for me, earned his spot. Fagioli as well. With the injuries that we could be seeing, I think both of those guys shouldn't be going anywhere. Again, Sandro, yeah, it wasn't good. Pellegrini wasn't much better. And all of us have been saying for a while, or a lot of you guys, I think we'll be fine at left back, but that we still need another fullback. And I'm kind of starting to agree. I'm starting to agree that that's probably a purchase that needs to happen along with the Vice Vlahovic position. Like you put it well. Sandro got burnt twice, but Dembele, full credit to him. Great player. Could Tech have done better on that first goal? Which one? Was it the first goal or second goal when it was
the first one.
Short side? But he's hitting at full tilt. Yeah, he's hitting at full tilt at 6 yards. So you got to give him a little bit of credit there. But second half, Perin, great showing.
Perin. Yeah, absolutely.
He played well. All in all, 2-2, probably not fair. Barcelona hit the woodwork twice, but moving on
from the 16th minute on, it was just youngsters from both teams, so I can't really judge. Say Pellegrini was bad. He played with a different type of players and against a different type of players, so I can compare really. Wasn't a great showing, and I don't know how he would have done against Dembele. And that's about it. Danilo was very quiet, like I barely heard his name. The formation kind of caught me off guard. I didn't know what to expect, basically, and it was sort of a 3-5-2, but 4-3-1. I don't know what it was, but whatever it was, Di Maria was sublime in his role.
You want to know some? I put it on Twitter for the first game, and I put it on Twitter for this game. He's going to be a problem in Serie A for other teams. If he stays, we need him to stay healthy. We need him to do what he's doing like that. The way he can penetrate that second to last line in front of the defense, I think he's gonna do very, very well. Much like when Lukaku came in, the Serie A fits his game a lot better. So I think he's going to excel more than people think he's going to. I didn't think Danilo was awful. I just think he was sort of not involved. I think there's a bit of a difference. You can be awful, and you can also be not involved.
He looked a bit like confused with his role, like his timed runs. Like the right side was pretty much dead. Like everything happened from the left, from Cuadrado, from Di Maria, and they all pulled to that direction. And the right side was pretty non-existent in an attacking sense. But defensively, Barcelona didn't do much from the right side. When it flipped and Cuadrado moved to that role, then Barcelona took control over that right flank. But again, it's the second half. It's the kids, the Primavera guys, so I'm not judging too much.
In your eyes, do you think Keane has earned the spot as the second number 9, the Vice Vlahovic, as they said?
I have no idea. I don't know what to think about the guy, because what they're saying about him is good, but basing it off last season, no. Right. But if he can keep up that form and like No, he needs game time with Vlahovic and possibly another guy coming in. I don't think he's going to get it, at least not as a striker. But it's kind of weird today. Like Del Piero could have had a bad season, and no one would turn against him. And now a player has one bad season, and suddenly ship him out. He's not good. He's still young, and that's basically on him. This season is on him to prove that Juve should keep him. He's still on loan and not look to sell him. And if he drops the ball, then that's his fault.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think when he has a showing like that, I don't think he's going to be going anywhere. I think he's going to be staying with us this season. So we all need to buckle up. Much like Sandro's going to be staying with us. Much like the news came out today about an hour ago, it appears that Rabiot is going to be spending this season with us. I'd like to get your quick hit on Rabiot. I called it. I didn't think he was going to be going anywhere. I know it's going to polarize the fan base a little bit, but again, I understand why people have their concerns with Rabiot, but in Max's eyes, he's a healthy body that's always available.
The source was a bit strange to me, so I
take it with a grain of salt.
Yeah, it didn't come from Nicolas Kira or Fabrizio Romano or Agresti or anyone. So it's just newspapers, and the newspapers just pump out whatever they want, basically. So I still think he's going out. I don't think he's staying this summer. I think he's looking to be sold and not stay another season. But Champions League is a priority for him. So Lyon are interested, but they don't play in the Champions League. I don't want him to stay, to be completely honest. I don't want him to stay. And if Pogba is injured, then he's going to see more of the pitch than anyone else. We know that. So I don't like it, but I don't trust the source completely to go with it.
Well, and remember, if you're not doing it already, follow the All Juve Cast on Twitter. Subscribe to this channel. We bring you all Juve all the time. Al does his Juve recap videos every morning, except the mornings when we do shows like this. Support the sponsor, Striped Tarts Apparel. I believe they're gonna have some new gear coming out in the near future. And without further ado, it is the gaffer.
Oh yeah!
Don't put your arms up like you won something. What did you win?
I did win. I'm always winning every day. Every day I'm winning. Okay. Guys.
So Al, we started without you because obviously that's what we do around here.
I like it.
Omer didn't have the forklift. We kind of went through the game really quick. We were about to transition into injuries, transfers, that sort of thing. But before we jump into that, your overview of your thoughts on the game last night, and maybe your best player, and maybe somebody who would be your worst player.
It was not as bad as a lot of reactions out there. It was actually decent in the start. I loved Rovella, to be honest. And I said that after the first one. In the second half of the first match, he was the only one actually doing something and present and getting in there. So I wanted to see him with some of the better players and better quality around him. I thought he did well. Thought he held his own again yesterday. Zakaria, a little more involved. So I liked him, like a better showing for him than the first outing. Bring me a fullback, for Christ's sake. Bring me a fullback. Like, it's just, like, I can't do this. I've said it so many times. Regardless if we cannot move him, regardless if we have to pay him $6 million, it still doesn't make sense to have Sandro on this team. He is dusted, absolutely dusted, and he looked awful yesterday.
Yeah, I think that was
Quadrado to the same flank. That's an accident waiting to happen.
That was a nightmare. So Quadrado is a roller coaster, is exactly like what it is, man. Highs and lows, like some good stuff offensively and some absolutely awful stuff offensively, and then some brutal stuff defensively from Quadrado. And the left side with Quad, we know, is like flirting with disaster. And yesterday was like through all the motions. But man, we need some help at fullback. We really, really do. It's just right there. It's so glaring and obvious that we need fullback help. I'm shocked that they don't want to try to take a stab at anything, considering the fact we haven't touched whatever our actual transfer budget is. It still remains untapped. So for me, I don't know, like, if we're looking at alternatives and all these other moves, if you need to bring a Vice Vlahovic, you can still do so theoretically with barely touching your transfer budget if you absolutely have to. That's why some of these purchase things like don't make a whole lot of sense, like as a vice to Vlahovic. It literally is a vice to Vlahovic. That guy's not going to be crucial or critical in any way, shape, or form. So to start talking about guys that might cost us, upwards of 30 million is like, what are we doing here? It's a vice to Vlahovic. Dudu is the guy. Okay, so Dusan Vlahovic is the guy.
Is Keane
find some fullbacks?
So before we get into the Vice Vlahovic, I said, because you're probably sitting on the dumper somewhere, for me last night, Ravella was my head and shoulders man of the match. Locatelli had a great game as well, but for me, I think Ravella had a great match. Don't know why the hell he was out there that long, him and Zakari. I don't know what the hell Max was doing. But for
Di Maria is still
why the hell was he out there that long? Great game, but he sort of faded a little bit. I think he was just gassed. It was hot last. It was triple digits in the Fahrenheit. It was hot.
Well, and it's another one of our issues. We are so one-sided in how we play, and we did this last season too. And it was always like one wing, one flank, one wing, and yesterday it was like a lot of the same. I'm like, my God, like that. And I think that's why Cuadrado got on so many people's nerves, because he literally was the one we played through like a million times. We scored our goal on the first one, I think it was. Yeah, it was the first one. On a beautiful switch field where Di Maria is just standing on the sideline, like waiting for it. And we finally switch field. And then it was like, a switch went off and they're like, okay, this is what we need to do. We need to start switching field. And that's how we can find success, is getting these quicker guys that are out on the flanks in those 1v1 scenarios where they can kind of cook, right? But a lot of very unbalanced play still up one flank, and I'm not really sure why.
Yeah, you call it a roller coaster. I prefer the term an LSD induced ditch dive. Is more like what it looked like. It was pretty wild out there. But moving from the game, I think we all sort of agreed it's a friendly. We got one more coming up, actually two more, but one more in the U.S. Al, you're going to be there. Lorenzo putting the notes on the comments. He's already packed, ready to go. Are you packed, ready to go?
Yeah, I'm actually leaving town here in about, what is it? I'll be leaving here in about 6 hours, getting down to a van, and then I got an early morning flight, and I'll be in LA tomorrow at around 11 a.m. So... And then there's a few events booked for tomorrow. Friday's kind of like a free day, and I've got there's a bunch of Juventini that reached out, so we're gonna set something up and meet up. And then Saturday there's like tailgating from like 2 p.m. until game time, which is 7 p.m. So there'll be a lot of action, a lot of chance to meet the Juventini out there. So it's gonna be good.
Yeah, but you're not a tailgater though. Like that's not your thing. You're not a tailgater. That's not your thing.
Oh no. Yeah, I'm going to be out there.
Yeah, I do want to shout out Bremer, who kept Lewandowski at bay before we finish it up. And in regards to what you said earlier, the Vice Vlahovic, I don't think they're going to spend any money on it. I can't remember someone we were linked to that wasn't like they were looking for a loan, no matter who. With Morata, with Werner, with every name that popped up, everything was discussed as a loan and not as a deal to purchase someone. So either way, they're not going to spend money there, in my opinion.
Okay. Bremer had to leave the match yesterday. Did we get any report? I'm trying to find anything.
No, I haven't seen anything. I didn't see it. To me, he just looked like he was exhausted. And Rugani was already ready to go. So I think he was probably calling for a change, and Rugani wasn't quite warmed up yet. And Bremer just said, F it, I'm going off from the backside here. Because even the ref was like, to the substitute, hurry up and get on. So to me, that was just, he was done.
When he passed by Allegri, he said that he's good, just he needs to come off. That
I didn't read anything into that. I think maybe he just looked like he was exhausted.
Man, the names right now for this Vice Vlahovic, it's like all of a sudden like Firmino rumors, like you've got Martial, Werner, Arnautovic, like it's just
So
it's a
about
Vice
Firmino,
Vlahovic.
Mirko Di Natale, a friend of the show, mentioned this morning on Twitter, and I'm gonna triple check it, but from his contacts, he said on Twitter that he has no confirmation of them contacting Liverpool. He cannot confirm that. So
All right. And then the news of Rabiot being told he will stay this summer. Probably got to expect that with the Pogba thing, but I'm wondering
someone
what's
call
going to
Lou.
happen with these younger guys.
Oh, look at this guy. Look who's here.
Hey, Cliff.
The gritty.
The Cliffalicious.
There
King
he is.
2 goals. Cue the dance. Yeah. Oh, man.
He has a new dance, Cliff. You need to check it out and learn it so we can post it.
He's got to try and master that Keane, the new one. Yeah, not the old one. He doesn't even do that one anymore, Cliff. You got to get the new one down where he's doing his little hop thing.
He was doing it last year. It's the gritty. He was doing it last year. He's still got a little bit of work
gritty.
to do. It's called the gritty. They do it in the NFL.
Gritty,
can I do it? Not with my knees. No chance.
Wait.
No chance.
How at your age do you know that name? Like
What's
how
that?
is the dance called? The name of that dance, the gritty.
NFL wide receivers do it.
Seriously? I've never seen one do that.
Yeah. The rookie for Minnesota Vikings does it.
Really?
Yeah. Anyways, that's neither here nor there.
There you go. All right. Well, I don't know. I don't know what this whole I guess you guys would have got into the Pogba thing. It's crazy now.
We haven't even started it. Go ahead.
Well, we've got into Rabiot.
Let's get it going with this Pogba injury thing, because I see the fans and I see so much like just ripping apart management over this injury. And, this is why you should go on with SMS. And this is why it's like, it's not fair to the situation and the whole scope of the Mercado and the job that they had to do. It's not fair to just say that and crucify them now on this decision and bringing Pogba in. Number one, this injury is not what we were suffering with Dybala and whatnot. Like, this literally came from a play, from a knock in training, contact with another player. Like, that's how this happened. Okay, That's number one. Number two, if you just say they should have never done this and they could have went this route with SMS and whatnot, that's not fair to the whole situation. Okay, they've been trying to correct, again, so many wrongs that happened earlier with previous management, that it was a good move and it was a smart move, because you're trying to make as much of an increase to the quality of the team while lowering salary, while trying to save the funds. Because, again, I'm sticking to this. The further we go in this Mercado, the funds that we are reported to have as a budget, I think, is lower than what we were led to believe. Okay, which was 75 to 85 million euros. I don't think it's there. And this Lotito thing with SMS, and everybody's like, just spend the money. Stop being this team Conte used to give us hell about with the 10 euros in the €100 restaurant. Listen, you can go, if anybody wants to get SMS, you go and talk to Lotito and try and get him to sell SMS to Juve, because I honestly swear to God, we could go in there with whatever number we want, and I think he'd rather see his club burn than sell SMS to Juventus.
Like, look, we're not a PL team. Okay, we can't spend 70, 80 million every transfer window on a player, and we just spent 75 on Dusan. And when you do those type of deals and trying to manage accounts, you have to think forward into the future. And what if you spend it all out and it doesn't work, and you need to strengthen again in January? Then where's the money coming from? You need to be calculated in your moves. You can't just spend whatever you have. It doesn't work like that. And we don't have that privilege of the Premier League teams and City spending, I don't know how much money every summer, every transfer window. So if you're expecting SMS, which I am, but I don't see it happening this summer, 6 months after we signed Vlahovic. No way.
Yeah, fully agree with that. With what both you said, like people just need to. I don't get how they don't get it with SMS. Like I don't understand. Like you can't just go, especially. And let's just take Latino out of it. The players will. Like you don't have the players saying like Luis Alberto, like Jerry Mancini has been saying, friend of the show. We love Jerry, but he's a bit of a, but love the guy, massive Lazio fan. And whenever someone always talks about SMS coming to Juventus, he's like, you guys are crazy because he loves the club. So I sort of listened to Jerry on that sort of topic. And this morning he posted Luis Alberto, but it's like, oh, what about Luis Alberto? Well, he wanted to leave and now he's gone. There is no indication that SMS wants to leave Lazio. I don't think it's going to happen. Switching over to the Pogba thing, this is all just about people who don't have enough friends in real life want to get more friends on Twitter by saying, look, I told you so. I told you Pogba was going to get it. Here, give me likes, give me retweets. First of all, it doesn't benefit anybody to say, look, I told you so. He got hurt. It happens. It's a 40-day injury on a 4-year contract.
We could have signed Milinkovic-Savic, and he very well could have got injured too. Like injuries can happen. Like that's the thing. But this one is not like a muscular one or anything like that. Like it's literally like this was a contact play in training that it could have also been something that was pre-existing that now has obviously escalated to the point where he needs a procedure. The thing is, it's 30 to 35 days, like right now. Like that's a pretty good prognosis. Puts him back in the match against Roma on the 27th, which, by the way, our own Joe Cappuccino will be at. He will also be experiencing the Around Turin experience and sharing that with everybody through a vlog that we'll put up on the YouTube channel. So if you guys ever go down to Turin and you haven't experienced Maurizio's Around Turin whatnot, and you want to just see what it's all about before actually checking it out, we'll make sure you get close to that experience, which is fantastic. Nobody does it like Mold out there. Now, in terms of this whole Pogba thing, like for me, it just shines a light that like Juve, I'm a firm believer everything happens for a reason. Okay. I'm hoping out of this, it gets Juve out of their shell and just almost forces their hand into saying, okay, you know what? Rovella, Fagioli, like it's time. It's time. It's time to just get rid of this fear, get rid of these perceptions that the young guys can't hack it and whatnot, and just say, you know what? This is your chance. We've had to do this before, okay? And back in the Calciopoli days, even a guy like Chiellini may not have gotten his opportunity to really get in there. And you know what? It was through injury that Giorgio Chiellini slided into center back. And then what happened? Marchisio, same thing. Does Marchisio get a crack if it's not for Calciopoli and the roster shifting dramatically and whatnot? Let this be the beginning of Juve truly, truly switching gears and saying, you know what? We've got these talented kids and we're going to not be scared to let them go. Because for me, with Pogba out of the lineup, Fagioli is almost that next creative wave in there to try and take that position and make it happen. Locatelli, there's a lot of shouts that people want Locatelli as a mezzala. I don't see it. I see this guy as a regista, or another thing we could start doing now is a two-man pivot. And maybe you start shifting your formation to a 4-2-3-1. One way or another, it's gotta be the sign of something that, you know what, Juve's got to look elsewhere and give these guys shots and even try mess with the formation a bit. But even Max has to come out of that shell and say, okay, you know what, like let's get into this and let's dig in.
Yeah, and don't forget we're overloaded in midfield. Like signing a player like SMS will force us to sell someone immediately. And who do you think will be easier to sell, Rabiot Arthur or Rovella Fagioli? Because it can't go into the season with 9 midfielders. And look, we looked pretty damn good yesterday, considering we didn't have Vlahovic on the field, no Chiesa, and no Pogba. Those are possibly our 3 best players. and we were fine. Okay, it wasn't all that bad. Rovella has the most experience out of the youngsters in like top tier level, and so I'm not surprised they did better than the others. And that's about it. We can't. The management is now focused on selling, from what I understand. They're looking for roads to get rid of Arthur, maybe Rabiot, maybe one of the youngsters, but they won't sign anyone before they sell. No way.
Well, and another point about last night with the youngsters, and to me, the way Max handled that game, it looked like he didn't want to get steamrolled by Barcelona. It looked to me he kept his players out there to kind of hold the game at where it was. Because if he threw all those youngsters out in the 60th minute, Barcelona was going to score another 6 goals. And it kind of had that feel for me. I don't want to say that I hope that's not what he did, but that's how it looked to me. Is like he kept Di Maria out there, he kept Locatelli and Rovella out there, just to sort of stem the tide. It's a friendly. I didn't really like how, especially in that heat, like it was hot down there.
Yeah, it's hot.
So for the next game, I know Real Madrid is another step above the last two, especially Barcelona and definitely over Chivas. Do you think we'll see? Do you think we'll see Fajol and Rovella start side by side
against Real Madrid or through the season?
Against Real Madrid. Rest Locatelli because he played 65, 70 minutes. Would you maybe it should?
It's a tough call. I mean, we're at Wednesday. The game's on Saturday. I don't think. Well, LA's going to be hot, but I don't think as hot as Dallas.
But would you do it to rest the players? Would you start the two? Those two?
I'd be fine starting both of them, but I don't think we will see that. I think you'll see one. He seems to be splitting them up, but I'd be okay if he did. But to be honest, I'd probably go do we know? Is McKennie still dealing with that knock from his foot or whatnot? Like, why is he not getting any minutes?
And Max said he's going to be ready. Yeah, he's sort of recovering and he doesn't want to endanger him.
So he's still recovering. Okay. Because honestly, I'd probably slot him in since he hasn't started a game. But if he can't, then I mean, another one at the side, I probably wouldn't go Rovella and Fajoli. I'd split them up in a half. But I'd probably go the next one, Luca for a bit with Fajoli on the left, and then pick somebody on that right side.
I think Rovella and Zakaria are going to be rested because they're the only one who played the entire 90 minutes yesterday.
Yeah, so it's
in that it. I think they're going to be rested and come on as substitutes and look at.
I think we get quicker rotations against Real Madrid, to be honest.
Possibly.
That one yesterday, it was interesting. So Jeremiah's point here, he really doesn't give you much chance because of inexperience, excuse or whatnot. The inexperience thing is what makes me laugh because you obviously have Juventini on both sides of this, right? You have Juventini that believe you need to go with the experienced players and that these young guys just aren't ready, and that's why they're not given opportunities. But that in its own is kind of hilarious to me because you're shooting down a kid because he doesn't give the experience, but you're not giving him the opportunity to gain that experience in the same token, right? So
how experienced is Sandro?
Yes, thank you. But not only that, you've got these guys going out usually on loans to these other sides. And I've been saying this for a while too. Like if the guy's up to a standard, okay, you have to look amongst your club before even factoring this in. If we look at this midfield, okay, again, Pogba is out. If we were to loan a guy like Fajoli out before giving him the reins and saying, okay, it's time to go with you, who next up in this midfield can create like Fajoli or bring that? We said that after the first game, the first half. He did this little spin move that, Zidane almost made famous. I can't even see another midfielder attempting that to get out of that scenario that he was in, and then he sprung a counterattack.
That's why I never played midfield. I would have blown my hip out doing that move.
It's just look at the guys we have, look at the players and what they bring, and then make those decisions. But don't just shun a guy because he's not ready yet. I don't think
I'll take some
have
bullets.
That luxury to make that call.
I'll take some bullets on this one. I was the guy last season saying, everyone can say it, I was the one saying they're not ready. they're not ready to play. These guys aren't ready to come into this first team. They should be loaned out. I'll say it right here on July 27th. Rovella and Fagioli are ready to start or come off the bench on this first team. With the how the injuries went last year and how the team and how I hope they don't go this year, but you never know with injuries. Those two guys, and I'm not even going to put Moretti in there because he's off to the side. I'll leave him and Sule. Those two guys, Rovella and Fagioli, have to stay. Not necessarily start, but they have to stay and get their minutes. They have to. I'm fully aboard that train now.
Yeah. And it's just literally looking at the squad. And I mean, Georg puts it great here. He goes, we got to realize we're not at the 2016 level where we were there and the youngsters would not get the crack. They would not get it in that roster, right? But now's the time to make that shift and show some faith in these guys, because we're at that level where if you look at the roster again and you go through that, these guys are there. They're right there in the mix and should be considered for these minutes, and us taking that chance on them and giving them that experience, because we're there. We're there right now.
I would loan Moretti out though.
That's a good call too, and I'm with you on that one, because we see Moretti. He comes up a lot and saying Moretti for me is not at Rovella and Fagioli level just yet. A lot of people, see him ahead of at least Rovella and whatnot. I don't see that. And Rovella and Fagioli are very, very different in the two. Rovella's that again. For me, I see him as a change-up to Locatelli and another metronome that can kind of be that guy, that main pivot point in the middle and then moving it on. Fagioli, I see him higher up the pitch, being that mid-sala that can go up there and create some offense for you. So different styles, totally. And Moretti's, I understand the shouts that he's arguably has the highest ceiling out of all the guys, but right now, for me, he's got to see a loan. But
he's not like the ready. I see Fagioli, and he played in Serie B for an entire season, and at 21, he was the best midfielder in that league, which means he's better than that league, and he is ready to start for Serie A side, even for Juventus. Rovella has more experience in Serie A than anyone else out of all the youngsters Juve are trying to play with. So Moretti alone wouldn't do him any harm whatsoever. And we can do another season without him. It's fine. Marchisio went through the same thing and it was fine. Played a couple of games with Juve, went out on loan, came back, a more finished product. And that's how I see Fagioli and Rovella now. Moretti, I have no problem with him leaving. I'm not banking on him to stay and revolutionize the Juve midfield.
Yeah.
Does this have some sort of financial perks if he becomes a club trained player? I don't know what the difference is.
It basically means you can use him in the Champions League. We've talked about it a few days ago that a youngster in the Champions League is considered a guy who played for 3 years at the club between the ages of 15 to 21. And that's why moist skin is a privilege. Pinsolio is a privilege. You have to register, at least one for the Champions League. And that's about it. He will get his 6 months at Juve.
Yeah.
What's the 18?
Yeah, I was gonna say too, with the rumors of Rovella being loaned to Salernitana, this is another one of my things with where these guys go and where they are being loaned out to, because I see not a lot of positives about Rovella going to Salernitana for a loan spell. When again, you factor in who's our vice to Locatelli. Like, for me, it's a no-brainer that right now it is, in fact, Rovella. Artur's set to go out on a loan most likely. You're not going to play Zakaria there. You're not going to play Rabiot there. You're not going to play McKennie there. You could probably play Pog there, but he's way more valuable to you up creating when he comes back. Can Fagioli do it? I think he can, but again, he's more valuable to you on the side and whatnot. So the whole thing, it needs to make sense. All of it needs to make sense. So for me, these guys were at the level where they're right there in the mix. They should be included there. CJ, Rovella, Fagioli, both set to take minutes with Juve. No point alone. I agree. I agree completely. Yeah. So Rabiot set to stay. I mean, do you think there was ever a shot, really? I always felt like he was probably going to stay. Like maybe. You never know with, Rabiot's mom / agent and her pushing for a move, whatever. But I don't know. I think with the Pogba thing there and just the sheer amount of minutes he logged last season, I don't think Max was ever really probably looking at moving him on. You think? What do you think, Omer?
I don't think it comes from the club. I think it comes from him, from the player himself. I still think he's leaving this summer because he wants to, and his mom wants to. But maybe the Pogba, his mom. Can you imagine your mom managing your career?
Whenever someone says that, I just think it's so funny. Like he's got to talk to his mom first before he leaves.
If my mom wasn't my agent, my God, can you imagine?
I would get great mails.
They're very, very nice. They're very, very nice. I made them some cutlets. We had a great discussion, and they wear beautiful colors. I like their colors. No.
Yeah, she'll be more worried about how I eat than where do I play.
If we had agents in all Juve casts, I know of at least 3 guys in our group who'd have their mom as their agent.
We're going to let everybody on the live guess.
But there's at least 3 who would have their mom.
Are we guessing?
No, we're going to continue on with the conversation.
Okay.
I could tell you one who I know would want to represent himself, and it would be an absolute disaster. Ooh, and I'll call that. I'd like to hear that now. It'd be Lucci. Lucci would try and self-represent, and it'd be just a nightmare.
No, he would have his mom by his side. His mom would carry. He'd have to carry his mom's suitcase too, and her laptop bag.
Oh man,
Lou would represent himself.
Lou
would
probably represent himself, but he could. Sweet Lucifer. Joey Cappuccino, Cliff, and who? Oh man, that's good. That's funny.
Really, Joe?
Oh man, Low. We got lunch set up tomorrow, my man. Number 10 restaurant, LA, in Low.
Well, there you go. Good. Nice.
But yeah, guys, I don't know. It's just with the ups and downs and the turns from some Juventini out there in terms of news and how it happens and the injuries. But the injuries, again, I don't know. It's frustrating for Pogs to take that knock in there, but knocks happen and whatnot, and it's our training staff, all that is going to be under the microscope this year.
When the hell are we switching the training staff? Are we waiting until we get back to Italy to fire them all, or what are we doing here?
There was one position that was changed, as far as I know.
They hired another coach.
One amongst the staff, but I thought it was earlier, right before the Mercado hit, said that it was going to be wide scale, full staff change and everything. And I mean, Anth and I laughed about it when you watch the All or Nothing, because these guys are like dinosaurs. They are old school guys. And I'm like, man, we've got to get somebody that's
these are the guys who would have gave people wooden peg legs as, crutches. That's what these guys are. Give people wooden teeth. They're so old. I have no idea what the hell they're doing in there. There's no 40-year-old surgeons. They don't exist in Italy. They're all 106. What are we doing here? What are we doing?
Yeah, I know. They got to sort it. Luca making his way in. Oh, there we go.
He would have his mom as his agent, 100%.
Adamo just shot 5 over
look
par.
At this guy. All right.
5 over par, not bad. What, so 9:30-ish, just about 9:30 there already.
That's the first 5
in.
holes.
You got time for another round, man.
Is that 5 over on the first 5 holes? Good for you. That's not bad. That's not a bad start to the round.
Man, I haven't golfed in way too long, so I can't talk on golf skills.
I retired from golf.
I golfed once 10 years ago. It was awesome.
Like the video, everybody. Thank you for the continued support. I'll have a ton of content while I'm down there in LA coming your way too. It'll be split through Twitter and obviously YouTube. I'll do a vlog at the very, very end about all the events and everything taking place there. Obviously linking up with Juve SoCal, my friend Saeed there that runs that fan club. There are also a couple other ones that I will be mixing it up with and showing some love to. I believe the guys from Vancouver, BC. So I'm from British Columbia, obviously. The Vancouver fan club is going to be down there as well as a second one from LA. So I'm going to be mixing it up with a lot of Juventini from different clubs and stuff and bringing that. It's going to be good times. Take it for what it is, everybody. These friendlies, just answering questions about the team. The biggest one for me is fullback, and that brings me a lot of pain to think that this team saw no need to address anything there. I can't get hung up on that. We talked about this a lot, and Anthony and I got into it about Sandro, and I saw a lot of crucial mistakes over and over, and it's not going to get any better, man. I think it's time to chalk it up as an L. And Cambiasso so quick to go out on loan. Even he probably could have played a part, but if he's not to the caliber that everybody wanted, spend some money and bring a serious fullback in. I'm fine with Danilo on the right side. I have no issues with Danilo, but you need somebody that can shore up that left side. Pellegrini, I thought, was okay in his showing in the previous one, but he's also not super attack oriented, which is some Juventini say he is, but I don't see it. I don't see it enough. You have to have one guy on the flank that can actually bomb and bring you something up the pitch.
Are they hoping DeShilio's that guy?
God,
like,
no.
I don't.
You just know he's not.
I don't get it.
He's not.
Yeah, I don't get it.
Unless it's Roma and we're like outrageously down, and all of a sudden DeShilio decides to, make an.
It says a lot about last season that the best moment was provided by DeShilio.
In the Roma match?
Like
the
best memory from last season is that DeShilio goal against Roma. How sad is that?
Oh, man. I still say the highlight was Landon Duchan when everybody said no. That goal, a minute into Champions League, that goal was just, it was slick.
Yeah, just the way it turned out kind of clouded that entire scenario.
Don't forget, we're going to have our prediction show coming up pretty soon. So...
yeah, we're going to get into the predictions. There's still a couple more friendlies going on. Omer's going to be at the one at Tel Aviv. Okay. And we still have some Mercado business that's going to take place. So we just wait to see what's going on there, everybody. But
realistically, though, how much Mercado business do you think we have left? Because Lou at the beginning of the summer said 4 changes, which was a fair number. I thought it was going to be more. Now, like realistically, I think we have 2 or 3 more moves that are going to happen.
2 or 3?
So at least Monblano said 3 or 4 more incoming players, and he's trending at the moment. Like
that's a lot.
Spot on. Yeah, that's a lot, and he also said it depends on departures. We're not going to sign 3 or 4 players if some of the guys don't leave. I see 3 more.
I see Artur's going to go. We already brought Di Maria, Pogba, and Cambiasso in, and Bremer after the De Ligt move. There's been a lot of action.
Ramsey out.
Yeah, Ramsey terminated. Yeah, awesome.
So let's
Artur's going to go. We're going to get a Vice Vlahovic. I don't see anything else happening in the middle of the pitch. I don't know if they're going to do anything on fullbacks, but I definitely would. The Cambiasso loan was so premature. It was crazy to me.
Yeah, but that one there was when they signed Cambiasso, they knew right away that they were going to loan him. I don't know if that was.
He did too. It wasn't
part
a surprise
of the and he was okay with it. So I don't know if it was part of the deal. For that kid to look at this Juventus team and say, like, listen, for some reason I'm not going to start over Sandro. I might as well just go get my minutes, because he only played 22 games in Serie A, so it's not like he's some sort of
and that's fine.
barn burner.
And that's fine. if that was the game plan, but I still find it shocking, not in the sense of what's going down with Cambiasso, that they can't see they have to do something at left back. If you can't move Pellegrini, everybody was throwing, well, they can't move Pellegrini. That's fine. I don't want to see Pellegrini moved. It's Sandro that is done and dusted, that offers you nothing anymore further defensively, like nothing. It's him that is the issue. I don't care if he makes $6 million and we're paying him, so he may as well get a roster spot. That's not right, and that's not where we should ever think and be in that frame of mind. Sorry, man, you're gone. I don't care. Yeah, we'll pay you. See you later. Find somebody that gives you something, offer something. Fullback to me is a glaring. The other thing is Kostic. Kostic could have offered you a left wing back because he plays everywhere on the left side, and if you wanted to play a 3-4-3 or a 3-5-2, he would have provided you somebody that can bring that to you. And that one still shocks me that it never got done at a smaller price range of 15 to 20 million euros.
I think
there's some question marks about this Mercado still. The great work that they've done, there are some question marks because that's a big hole to go into the season with. Like, they did good trying to boost middle of the pitch, and they're using the younger guys. They did good up top with getting Vlahovic in here and Di Maria, but they've left a troubled area that was a problem last season. They've kind of left it the same, which is surprising for how Cherubini and Arriva Bene have carried themselves.
Homer?
Yeah, I think Kostic didn't go through because they failed to offload Pellegrini and Sandro. That's the main reason, I believe. Look, we said it more than once. You can't fix all the problems, and the left back is a glaring problem. But prior to this Mercado, the midfield was a bigger issue, in my opinion, at least. And they sort of fixed that. We'll find out by the end of the season if it worked out or not. But left back should definitely be like the main issue now. Like, if you can fix it this summer, go for it. If you're still stuck with Sandro and Pellegrini in the roster, and Deschilio and Danilo and Cuadrado, and that's a million fullbacks, and you're paying them a lot of money, then you can't bring anyone else in.
But again,
they won't do it.
Not being able to move Pellegrini, that is the problem I have. It's Sandro. Yeah. Do you know that his salary is covered anyways? Even if they said, see you later, like, whatever, we can't move you, you don't have a place in it, it's covered regardless. So it's still not an excuse to me. You have the same issue on the left flank that we did last season, and we're going to go into it. They have to figure it out. They have to figure that out.
I got a hard stop. I'm going to be jumping off, but these two gentlemen are going to keep it going. But before I leave, I'd like to kind of shoot a hole in my own argument about players without Serie A experience. Gatti, I might be turning the page on Gatti here. I thought he played well yesterday. I thought he played well in the first game. You know, that game Italy against Argentina that he played in.
England.
England. Sorry, it was the Nations League game. So far, so good. You know, I'm not gonna put a crown on the guy, but you know, the way he presses into space with the ball, much like Bonucci did when he had like a better back. So far, so good. Because if someone mentioned the comments on our last show that I guess he used to be a midfielder, but hey, if he just, all we need him to do is to be steady, like a good second, third center back. So far, so good.
Yeah, Gatti's he looks great. He looks great.
Oh, what is
the Godfather.
The Godfather.
Oh my God. I gotta
great.
go.
That's awesome.
That is great.
Now imagine in have a Chiellini career. That would be the proper name. But I do appreciate it. Like, he's the type of player he wasn't a prospect when he was 17, 18. Like, he grew into it, and it's the type of career trajectory that will make him work harder for what he achieved, because that Juve move came out of nowhere for him. And those are the type of players I like more, not the guys who are stars since they were 17 and everyone's after them and you're paying a huge fee and sometimes you forget they're literally kids with no experience. You expect too much of them, and Gotti is like the flip side of that.
Yeah.
And I think it's
What a
going to
guy.
be great.
What a comment from this guy. Don't forget, subscribe to the channel, like the video, Striped Hearts Apparel. I went with the Trezeguet today.
Oh, the Trezeguet.
Al, safe travels, my friend. Safe travels to LA. I guess I'll just be sitting here running the channel while you're gone. All right, whatever.
No, I'll still be doing it. Still be doing remote. Oh yeah, the daily update videos, everybody. They'll just be live from LA, so we're still gonna rock it. Still gonna rock it. All right, we got Omer and myself. Let's get some Storm the Barn coming. We still got a little bit of time left there and whatnot. But yeah, I mean, all in all, again, we kind of try and paint the picture that they had so much work to do, Cherubini and Arriva Bene, Omar, that it's tough. It's a big juggling act. So I don't think it's fair for the criticisms of the Pogba signing and now this particular injury, which again is a knock, not something muscular or anything like that. So I don't think it's necessarily fair. The Di Maria business, it's great bringing them in. Di Maria is just class, man. Like you could see this guy, like he is going to be a nightmare. Another one of the things we think about in terms of last night's match is you've got Di Maria, and I've been saying this for a while. His recovery is going fantastic. If Chiesa can get into the lineup sooner than predicted, that's going to be a massive ace up the sleeve for Juventus, because if you have Di Maria one side, Chiesa on the other, that's lights out. That's lights out.
Look at the amounts of chances he created in 2 games. Like we didn't get that amount of chances in, I don't know how many games have we watched that we said like nothing happens, no one is passing, no one is creating. Di Maria alone provided like 10 good scoring opportunities in the past 2 games. Yeah. That's awesome. Maybe it's the cover of a better midfield, and he's a bit rusty. It's preseason, like he's not at full fitness. That it doesn't look like he's 34 at all.
No, not
like
at all.
The way he moves, the way he comes off his line, and he's very fast. He's very precise with his passing. He's just a class player. Like in a different era without Ronaldo and Messi, he would have been considered better by other people, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. So Dan saying, a lot of work still needs to be done. Of course, absolutely. There's still a lot of work to be done, but we cannot disregard how many Mercados previous of bad decisions that they're trying to clean up and work through. It was never going to be this massive, quick turnover and change that everybody wants. It was never going to be that.
It actually is that. It actually is.
It's close to it if we can integrate the youngsters. It feels that way with the youngsters, right?
Look, if you consider they've taken the role in less than a year, what they achieved in that span of time is actually incredible.
Yeah.
It's incredible, the amount of players they got rid of and the players they brought in, top talents in Italy, and covered multiple positions. I can't expect them to fix the team in 1 year, but I didn't expect them to do what they did in that span of time.
Absolutely. And that's the thing, is that it's continuously this forward progress and momentum, and there's a different feel around the club. There always is each year, but it's got a little bit more positivity to it this year. And I can't quite put my finger on what it is necessarily, but it just feels a little more positive, the energy and whatnot, not so tight and whatnot. But we've got a Storm the Barn question in that we're going to get into. Again, everybody, like the video, but get your questions in now. We have a little bit time remaining with myself and Omar here. Kush coming in saying that I'm jealous you go watch Juve live. I'm trying to negotiate with the wife going before the end of the years. Fingers crossed we get an English team in group stage Champions League. Fingers crossed, because it's always great beating the English sides, but fingers crossed that you can go and experience it, because it's amazing to watch a team live. If you get the chance to ever go to Turin and watch them live, it's even better. For me, I never got a chance to go to the Stadio delle Alpi, which obviously was a stadium prior to them getting Allianz here, right? Which J Stadium is what it was opened as. It's a surreal moment and feeling when you get to walk into that pitch. It is a beautiful stadium, and I highly recommend doing the stadium tour, going through the museum, And at the end of the museum, there is a beautiful surprise that it gives you chills. It's emotional. I'm not going to spoil it for all of you, but if you ever get the opportunity, by all means, take it. You will never regret doing that stadium tour and going through the museum. It's amazing stuff. And you get to see with the stadium tour everything. Like you're in the locker room, you see the training facility and all the amenities that the players have at their disposal. It's great stuff. Do you think we could still win the Scudetto and other trophies if Max doesn't fix the flank issues? And how confident are you that Rovella and Fagioli stay with the first team? So, two-part question. Number one, if we don't fix, say we don't boost anyone at fullback, can we still do it? I still believe yes. I still believe we can do it, yes. My thing is that we cannot bank on Sandro. We just simply can't. If we want to go into the season and see him as the main left back, we will suffer. We will suffer. That's my 2 cents on that. But can we still do it? Yes. But he's got to be out of the picture, in my personal opinion. So we'll start with this question and Omar's answer to the first part. Then we'll get to the second part.
Yeah, it can be tricky. Like, how did we win? Who was the left back when we won our first championship, like in 2011-12? Was it De Celia and Peluso? I don't remember who it was even. And we did win it. And Asamoah wasn't like a world-class left back, but we managed. And so I believe we can manage. A lot of it depends on injuries, who's available. Maybe Pellegrini will have like a great sprung season where he kind of, goes all out and proves everyone wrong. Maybe it could happen and we could suffer from it. And I don't think it will decide the Scudetto, like a loss of one position. So yes, to your question, I believe we can win with a bad left back.
And Omar, how confident are you Rovella and Fagioli stay with the squad?
I think both of them will stay. The only way I see one of them leaving is in an exchange deal to bring someone better, more experienced. Otherwise, I think Allegri likes both of them.
There you go. I agree too. I think I don't see, especially the Pogba injury, I don't see either one of these guys not being of use to Max with their characteristics. Again, if you go down the list of the other midfielders, they've got some separation there, which is key. So I can't see it. I'm pretty confident they should remain with the team. Again, anything can change, and we still have till the end of August for Mercado. And like Omer said, there's an opportunity to bring somebody in that could come into play. We also can't ignore the fact that Fagioli is almost trying to strong arm the club in a sense to get like a commitment from them in terms of his contract renewal, right? So that's kind of another storyline that's, just kind of floating around there. It's an interesting one, and we know how that's played out for certain players trying to do that with Cherubini and Arrivabene. So it's very, very interesting coming from Fagioli and whatnot. So we'll have to keep tabs on that as well, right? Kush, who are the midfielders we can realistically get? And will they improve our midfield, which has been scrapped for 3 years? Well, here's the thing. This is right now for midfielders. It's literally been Paredes, like shoved down our throats for like 3 weeks almost. And it's like, I don't see him tipping the scale in a big way for Juventus, but there are a lot of Juventini that have argued with me on Twitter saying that, oh yeah, he definitely tips the scale and would be that alternative to Locatelli. Not only that, would be able to free Locatelli and put Locatelli as a box-to-box. I don't see Locatelli as a box-to-box. I saw him as one last year out of necessity, out of complete and total necessity. We needed him to go there. But I think he's most natural in a two-man pivot, but more so as a regista over a Mezzala. I think, honestly, we're realistically only looking at Paredes, and I don't see him tipping the scale for us. Omer, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree. I don't have anything to add. I never liked him too much. He was only a starter for Zenit. At PSG, he was always a rotational player. And he's 28. I know he's best friends with Di Maria, but we're not. It's not a. It's not like a club.
Yeah.
You don't bring friends in, you bring players that improve you, and I don't think he improves Juve. And if we have to bet on someone, I would go with our youngsters who save us tons of money in search for a different midfielder than Paredes. I don't think he's just good enough to improve what we already have.
Yeah.
But I might be wrong.
That's the easiest way I can put it, really. But we'll see. Scorpion saying, "Hello, my friend. I don't understand this big welcoming for Paredes from many Juve fans. I kind of feel the same way. I'm at the point where I don't see him being a big jump from some of these other guys, especially as a vice Vlahovic. It's again coming into play with that experience, right? It's that experience thing. You got Deepak adding in Paredes, a lot of injuries last season, but again, a lot of Juventini think he's coming. New York says steal Gio Simeone from Napoli for the backup to Vlahovic. We would have loved that. We were talking about him when his name popped up, that he would be one we would jump on and love to see come in. Who do you think will be the best and worst players of the 22-23 season? I think for me, as far as best, I think it's going to be Angel, man. I think if Di Maria stays fit and he looks the way he does and he's driven, I think he's going to just be an absolute nightmare in Serie A. So I'm going to call him for that. I'm going to go a little bit further and say I expect a breakout season. I know it's started off a little hit and miss from him so far, but it's just preseason. It's early. But I think Zakaria is going to have a breakout for Juventus this year. He was my call for a breakout. In terms of worst, I'm not going to get into the worst because I want to keep it positive. And I think you all know based on the show today where I'm leaning as far as who the worst is going to be. So I'm going to leave it at that. But best, I think it's going to be Angel. And breakout, I'm going to take Zakaria. Omer?
Yeah, it's hard to not agree with Di Maria based on what we've seen so far. Granted, we haven't seen McKennie yet. We haven't seen Vlahovic yet. So I'll go Di Maria, but my backup option is Dusan. I think Dusan will have a great season. Maybe even Bremer. I don't know. Don't know how many players retain the best defender in Serie A season after season. And worst, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. I like Sandro needs to score 30 goals to, to redeem himself from what he has done to us in the past few seasons. So. And it's a safe bet, basically.
Yeah.
Like betting Bayern were to win the Bundesliga.
Yeah, there you go. So we got another one coming in here. Memphis, Firmino, or Morata. Who do you think will be a better fit? So who would be the best fit for us out of these ones? So one of the things I was talking about as far as Firmino to Juventus was I don't know if he necessarily fits how Max plays completely. And the reason is Firmino is almost not a 9 in the sense that he drops back so much and kind of turns into a build-up style forward, right? And the way we use our outsides very defensively, it's almost like I have a tough time seeing him fit fully. I like Firmino. I always have liked Firmino. I don't know if he's a full fit. In terms of Morata, we know how Max feels about it. He can cover in both those roles. However, there's a lot left to be desired in both those roles, whether he's playing outside or playing at the 9. So it's interesting. Memphis, for me, would provide kind of the same issue as Dybala did. So I don't necessarily know if that's the way to go too. If I had to pick though, out of those 3, I would take Firmino and take that shot at him fitting in. That's my call. Omer, your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, Firmino is basically what you said. He's more of a like a, what's it called, a false nine, because Mane and Salah were the main goal scorers for that team, and we don't play that way exactly. We need that striker in the center, the guy to play off and lob the ball to. But he's experienced. He was great for Liverpool at the Premier League, which has higher intensity than Serie A. So it might work out. He missed a lot of days through injury last season, in the past 2 seasons actually. But maybe that's just because he plays in the Premier League, which have 20 more games than any other league every season, and made it all the way to Champions League finals and stuff. So I think he's a phenomenal player. I always liked him, and I would be down for him. Morata is like a jaded cop trying to get his pension or something, because the guy is done. He's not going to get any better than what he is, and he wasn't all that good to begin with in the past couple of seasons. Memphis is just, I don't think he's top level player. Like, he was great at Eindhoven, then he failed at Man United, and great at Lyon. Now he's bad at Barca. So I just don't think he's up to scrap with what Juve are trying to do.
Let's get to Werner or Martial. That was also picking up steam yesterday. What do you think about Timo Werner or Martial?
100% Werner. Like, a lot of people are saying that he's basically the German Morata, but he's much younger. So he does have a room to improve. And he was great at Leipzig. So the difference between leagues is massive. Like, the way they play, the way they defend, the intensity, the tactical analysis, everything is just different. So I can't really tell how a player would do in Serie A if you haven't played there. I think he's good. Maybe just Chelsea was too much for him, and they have tons of wingers and strikers, so it was hard to fight for his role. I would go for Werner. Out of all the names, fine, Werner, whatever. Martial is a hard no.
Yeah. I tend to agree there. Hard no on Martial for me. Timo Werner out of those ones for sure. Now let's get to we got time for maybe one, maybe two more. So we do have a comment here from Asgard saying, why are we not signing Udogi already? We can't rely on Alex. We've been asking this question this show, right? I don't think it's going to go unnoticed, and we still have over a month of Mercado left. Don't be surprised if Juve does work something out, because it can't go unnoticed. The help that we need at fullback. So let's try and get one, maybe two more. So Jeremiah coming in here, will the Kostic deal falling apart come back to haunt us as a big mistake on a real quality bargain? It's very tough to just look at that and say that, because we don't necessarily know 100%. As much as we would have wanted the deal to go through, you don't know 100% that's going to translate and correlate on the pitch and with the team. You never know that. And how many times has it gone the opposite way, where there was a player we didn't want the club to sign, we signed him, and then it worked out excellently and great, and it was a fit and whatnot. So these things can always go either direction. Is it gonna come back and haunt us? Again, that's going to be up to the other guys that are in those positions to determine. So it very well might, if again our plan, I think, is Alex Sandro sticking to a back four and whatnot. It's not necessarily the Kostic deal, I think, that's going to haunt us. I think it's just more so fullback in general. Not so much the Kostic one, but just if they go through this Mercado and say we're status quo at fullback, I think that could come back to bite us.
Yeah, I don't think it will come back to haunt us, because evidently he's going to West Ham, which we have no relation to. We don't play in the same league. We don't compete in the same competition. So how are we really going to follow what he's doing at West Ham? Do they have any chance of, becoming like a top club that you follow week in, week out, like Chelsea or Man City? I don't think so. So I'm not going to follow what he's doing. And you feel bad for players that do great at other big clubs that you could have signed. Let's go with Barella, for example. And how we missed that opportunity. But Kostic is 29. Like, I don't think he's going to get any better than what he is, and he's not like a world-class player to begin with.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you. Rick Ozzy there, massive thank you for the donation through Super Chat. He says left back is a massive issue. I am worried big time. Hey, let's see what happens again. Month left of Mercado. Let's see and see what Carabini or Ivana can do. I would be shocked if they don't pull some type of trigger. One of the last two. Don't want to hype the situation too much, but Lewandowski is one of the top 3 best strikers in the world. Bremer kept him fairly quiet. Thoughts? Without getting too much on a friendly and Lewandowski versus Bremer or whatnot, I will just say this, which is a carryover of what I've been saying about Bremer when you watch him play and whatnot, is everything is very natural and instinctive from him. When you watch him play, it's not forced. You could tell there's not a whole lot of thinking there. He just seems to know exactly where to go. It's all very smooth and fluid looking. He is a very, very strong defender. And not only that, look at the guy. He is a physical beast, a physical specimen, okay? Like, he is a big, big man. He's a strong defender. I had no doubts when I saw him manhandle Vlahovic 3 times last season, which no other defender could do. Vlahovic gave fits to defenders in terms of physicality, playing with his back to goal, and how strong he was. Bremer handled him quite easily. So I don't have any doubts about Bremer whatsoever. Like I said, the only thing I could find in his game that could use improvement is just passing ability on the ball. Other than that, this guy is solid. Omer, your thoughts?
Yeah, once again, it's like a pre-season friendly at like 100 and something temperatures. He's at a new club which he hasn't played with, so I'm not expecting like, top tier Lewandowski at his best. So it might have been an easier job for defenders because he's basically the main focus point, and Bremer just shut him out. I wouldn't say like Lewandowski is bad or past his prime, because he was like the best striker in Europe last season, in the past couple of seasons. So it's just a positive note, but I wouldn't read too much into it considering everything around it.
Yeah. Now, last one we're going to take is from Arash here. Do you see Rovella more like Barella or Locatelli? I do see him as former, and I can see a trio of Locatelli, Fagioli, and Rovella working in the midfield. So this question came up earlier in terms of, will you see them share the pitch and whatnot? I will say this. I actually see Rovella more as the change-up to Locatelli, and I don't see Rovella as being the box-to-box one, to be honest with you. I see him more as Locatelli than I do a Barella. Omer, what do you think?
Yeah, I see him more as Locatelli in the way he plays. He seems more defense-oriented than attack-minded kind of a midfielder. But the thing about midfield, in my opinion, is all about chemistry, and chemistry takes time. So I wouldn't say that if you throw the 3 of them together in midfield, it will work out perfectly. They need to play together for like a season or two, and to figure out who's best where. Locatelli on the right or on the left. Where's Fagioli? Is Rovella the regista or Locatelli? So it might work. It looks okay on paper, but I need to see that consistently throughout the season.
Yeah, absolutely. So that kind of wraps things up. Scorpion coming in here saying his idea in the midfield is Zakeri as a regista with Locatelli as a box-to-box with Milinkovic-Savic. And after Pogba comes back, we go Pogba, Locatelli, and Milinkovic-Savic. I will say this. I kept saying that Bremer would not come. Bremer was not an option for Juventus, and I continue to say that with Milinkovic-Savic. Will the same happen with Savic that happened with Bremer? I don't know. Maybe I manifested it in completely saying that it would never happen, but I will say this. Milinkovic-Savic isn't going to happen, Juventini. Okay? And would I like to be wrong on it? Oh, yes, more than anything. More than anything, but I don't see it happening. I don't see
For
it.
Juve shirts if it happens. provided by
we still got 3 kits coming out because Bremer joined, so stay tuned. Obviously, in the coming weeks, we will sort out a scenario where you will have your opportunity as an All UVCast subscriber and member of the AJC Army to try and win one of the 3 kits we're going to give away, okay? And it is winner's choice. That's right. Winners will get to pick the name set and number you want on the back of the kit, all right? So thank you, everybody, again. Great episode. I'm going to get ready because I'm literally taking off today and going to make my way down to Los Angeles for that match that's going to take place on Saturday between Real Madrid and Juventus. I'll be bringing you footage, not only through YouTube, but on Twitter. So make sure you follow us on Twitter account at AllJuveCast, and even the personal one at Alberto AJC. You've got at Omer. The whole team has their handles in the description to these videos. Follow them all. Everyone's great. And again, everybody, enjoy the rest of the week. We'll obviously chat. I'll still bring you the news updates as the days prolong, and I'll be live on the road basically with those news updates, okay? Because we never stop here. All Juve, all the time. Enjoy the rest of your weeks. Juventini will be in touch, and we'll talk soon. Fino alla fine. Forza Juventus. Thank you all great for the live chat. You guys were amazing as always. Like the video before you take off, and ciao.